Well, it's that time of year again. The time of year where the Razzies expose themselves as the inept fucks that they are. No, this isn't as bad as last year, where they literally nominated a child for Worst Actress, which is one of the most cruel things you can do as an award show. And they had plenty of other, shall we say, questionable choices. Like, I know it was trendy to hate on Morbius, but really, Jared Leto? That's probably his only good performance he had ever had up to that point, so really? But, other than those, there were plenty of others that were just not that great of nominations. This year, the nominations are still pretty bad, and I'm trying to figure out if they're worse than last year. There are a lot of questionable ones on here. Thankfully, some categories they did fine on, so let's go over that first. First of all, did they do any of these right, actually? Because almost every single one of these, there's something questionable about them. I'm not even gonna, let's just go over the issues I had, because I wrote them down. So the first one up is, of course, that they had to throw in nominations for Quantumania. Now, I know, just like Morbius, it's trendy to hate on Quantumania, but really? And especially, these are the nominations you went with. Thankfully, it didn't get nominated for Worst Picture. That would have just... Because, again, I don't think anybody's gonna tell me that was one of the 5 worst movies of the year. If you're gonna tell me that was one of the 5 worst movies of the year, I'm not gonna take you seriously. But it did get 4 nominations still. Michael Douglas for Worst Supporting Actor, bullshit. Bill Murray for Worst Supporting Actor. Okay, first of all, no, his performance was fine. And 2, he's barely even a supporting actor. That'd be something you put in for Worst Cameo or something. And again, that was actually a good cameo. Peyton Reed for Worst Director, really? I mean, even if you didn't like the screenplay of the movie, you can't nominate the director for that. And side note, it didn't get nominated for Worst Screenplay. So, I don't know why they're nominating Peyton Reed for Worst Director. And then Worst Remake, Ripoff, or Sequel. Now, I have a hard time believing it'll win any of these, but they're still stupid choices. And then another superhero movie that got shafted is Shazam! Fury of the Gods. And by the way, both these movies got 4 nominations, none for The Flash. In fact, there are a lot of movies that could have gotten nominations, including for Worst Picture, that didn't. At least I will give them credit that they did nominate Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I was wondering if they were going to actually do that, but they did, so I will give them credit for that. But no nominations for Peter Pan and Wendy. No Little Mermaid. No Flash. Really? But let's get back to Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Lucy Liu for Worst Supporting Actress. Now, her performance in that wasn't great, but it wasn't her fault. She was given a generic character and bad dialogue. Worst Actress, Helen Mirren. Okay, that's where I'm drawing the fucking line with this one. Really? You're gonna nominate Helen Mirren for Worst Actress? Again, her character was bland as fuck, but you can't blame her for that. And by the way, if you wanted an actress nomination for this movie, you had Rachel Zegler right there. And then it also got a nomination for Worst Screenplay. Yes, really, no, the screenplay in that movie was not good. It had a generic-ass story and bad villains and some pretty cringy jokes, but it was not even close to one of the worst screenplays of the year. And then it got nominated for Worst Picture. Once again, I'm drawing the line here. Again, Shazam! Fury of the Gods was not good, and I never thought I'd say this, but I think I was too fair in my review. Because I did kind of overlook, because I rewatched it, the story's dumb, the dialogue's not very good, the characters are bland, the villains suck, and the CGI's terrible. But it's not bad enough to get Worst Picture of the Year. Again, Peter Pan and Wendy, Little Mermaid, hell, any of the other DCEU movies I'd understand nominating here, Flash, Blue Beetle, or even Aquaman. But Shazam's the one you wanted to go with? Okay, Russell Crowe for Worst Actor for The Pope's Exorcist. No. Just no. And then there's the obligatory one that's supposed to be funny and is not. Now, they of course have Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Got 2 nominations, one for Worst Remake or Sequel, and the other one, I do not remember what the other one was for. I think it was Worst Screenplay. But in one of them, I believe it was Worst Screenplay, was Indiana Jones and the Dial of Beating a Dead Horse. And I put that pause in there on purpose because it literally had the 3 dots of before beating a dead horse. And then they do the same joke again of Indiana Jones and the dialogue, "Can we go home now?" Are these... Did anybody find that funny? I sure as hell didn't. But then there's this one where I have to get this a little closer because I wrote a lot on here so I had to write it kind of small. And this was for worst screen combo. Now the other nominations in this one weren't terrible. They could have been improved. Again, I would have gone with Ezra Miller and Ezra Miller. If you want to do something funny there, you could go Ezra Miller and Ezra Miller from The Flash. But either way, any two money-grubbing investors who donated to the $400 million for remake rights to The Exorcist. No, I'm not making that up. Actually, I kind of need that. Oh wait, no I don't, there's nothing else here. And it's not like the Oscars were any better, although I did find it pretty funny how much the feminist losers were melting down about the fact that Ryan Gosling got a nomination and that Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie didn't get nominations for director and an actress. And it was especially funny with the Robbie thing where they're calling it sexist, I guess because Gosling got a nomination and she didn't. How dare you nominate other women for this category? What? Yeah, you see what the problem is here, right? And also with the Oscars is that they nominated Oppenheimer for, like, every fucking award that it was eligible for. You're like, no, I didn't watch Oppenheimer because I really don't give a shit about a 3-hour biopic of anybody. So I didn't feel like watching it. But really, every nomination... Whatever, and I was going to be really annoyed if it didn't have Guardians of the Galaxy 3 for best visual effects, because Marvel gets shafted with that category every fucking year. Like, 2021, I want to see Dune got it that year, which is fine. I don't remember exactly who got it, but if I would bet money, I'd say it was probably Dune. But Shang-Chi and Spider-Man No Way Home did get nominations, but Eternals didn't. Really, and Eternals had the best CGI out of all of those. So yeah, not only are the Razzies a disaster, the Oscars are a disaster too. That's why I started doing my own a couple years ago just to make fun of these. The same way what the Razzies were supposed to be, but have kind of fallen off the wagon of doing that, and are now just exactly what the Oscars are. They're pandering and just doing the biggest movies that people would recognize instead of doing movies that people don't even know about but are objectively worse. And hell, they missed a bunch of big movies. Like I said, no Flash, no nomination for Ezra Miller, really. People would have loved to see that. Or maybe they didn't want to do that because he goes by they pronouns, and they didn't want to get backlash from the woke losers who would complain that he's not a guy. Oh my god. Yeah, you see what I mean? This show has just become more pandering crap like the Oscars are. So yeah, that's all I got, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.